The Galactic Empire had ruled the galaxy for centuries, its power and control stretching over countless worlds. Earth, a small, seemingly insignificant planet on the edge of known space, had always been dismissed by the Empire as a weak, underdeveloped species. Their technology was laughable to the aliens, and their military forces were barely worth considering. The Empire thought of Earth as nothing more than a curiosity, a planet that would be swallowed up when the time came, with little resistance. But what the Empire didn't realize was that humanity had something they didn't expect, something hidden beneath the surface of this weak planet. One quiet evening, a strange, unexplained disturbance appeared in the Empire's border systems. A lone warship, sleek and silent, drifted into the heart of their territory. At first, it went unnoticed by most, as the Empire's vast network of defenses scanned the system. But as the ship neared the heart of the Empire's fleet, something changed. The warship was not responding to their hails, nor did it appear to have any identification. It was alone, and there was no sign of any accompanying force. The Empire's commanders chuckled to themselves. They assumed it was another insignificant attempt by a distant world to make its mark. "Let's see what it can do," one of them muttered, convinced they would wipe it out within moments. The warship's name, the Vigilant, was known only to a select few on Earth, and its mission was clear: to show the Empire that humanity was not a species to be underestimated. The ship had been built with technology far beyond anything the Empire had ever encountered. The crew, a mix of soldiers and scientists, was prepared for the impossible. They knew that no matter how small their presence seemed, the Empire needed to understand one simple truth: humans could fight back. The first strike came without warning. The Vigilant's weapons powered up, and in a flash, a powerful beam of energy tore through one of the Empire's patrol ships. The Empire fleet commanders were stunned. They hadn't seen a weapon like this before. Nothing in their records described anything so devastating. The patrol ship was gone in seconds. There was no time to react. Panic spread through the Empire's commanders. They scrambled to assess the situation, but the Vigilant was already gone, slipping back into the shadows of space. The destruction was swift, clean, and silent. There was no boasting, no victory speeches, just a message that the Empire could not ignore. The Vigilant struck again the next day, and this time, the Empire was more prepared, or so they thought. The fleet assembled its best fighters, its most advanced warships, and surrounded the lone ship, believing they could crush it before it did more damage. But the Vigilant wasn't there to fight like any other ship. It moved with the precision of a predator, silently slipping through their defenses, attacking from unexpected angles, and then disappearing into the darkness. The Empire's best ships couldn't track it, couldn't catch it. It seemed to vanish as quickly as it appeared, leaving only the wreckage of their forces behind. Each strike sent a deeper shockwave through the Empire's fleet. The warship's attacks weren't just physical, they were psychological. It wasn't just the fear of being destroyed, it was the fear of the unknown. Every time the Empire thought it had cornered the Vigilant, it slipped away, leaving more unanswered questions than before. It was as if the warship wasn't just trying to defeat them, it was trying to send them a message, to make them feel the weight of their own arrogance. And yet, there was no direct communication, no demands, no speeches, just the silence of space, punctuated by the sudden, unexpected destruction of their ships. The Vigilant's presence was enough. Every time the Empire believed it had regained control, the ship would strike again, leaving them with the same question: how was this small, seemingly insignificant world capable of such advanced technology? The Empire sent out more ships, more resources, hoping that with greater numbers they could overwhelm the Vigilant. But it didn't matter. The warship was always one step ahead, always more agile, more cunning. Their ships were no match for its speed and firepower. The Empire's pride began to falter, and their commanders started questioning the impossible. Was Earth truly that powerful? Could one ship be enough to change the course of the war? As the days passed, the once confident Empire grew desperate. The Vigilant's attacks were not just a series of battles, they were a wake-up call. The Empire, which had crushed so many civilizations before, was now on the defensive. They couldn't understand how they had failed to prepare for something as simple as one ship, one human crew, determined to show them what Earth could do. It wasn't about defeating the Empire with sheer strength. It was about defeating them with wit, with strategy, and with a message that could not be ignored. And as the Vigilant vanished once again into the stars, leaving another fleet in ruins, the Empire realized something they had never considered before. This was only the beginning. Earth's message was clear, but the true message was yet to come. It was a reminder that no matter how vast the Empire's power, there were still things in the universe it could not control. The humans were no longer the weak, insignificant species they had thought. The Empire was starting to feel the fear they had once laughed at. The warship's silent message had been received. The question now was, how would the Empire respond? The Galactic Empire had conquered countless planets and destroyed any that dared to challenge its power. For centuries, no force had been strong enough to challenge its rule. Earth, a tiny and unremarkable planet in the far reaches of the galaxy, had always been dismissed as weak and primitive. The Empire's leaders saw it as a place to be conquered when the time came and nothing more. They didn't think much about Earth or its people. But they had no idea what was coming their way. One quiet morning, the Empire's surveillance systems picked up a strange signal near one of its outer territories. At first, the officials were unconcerned. A ship had entered the space, but there was nothing special about it. It was just one small vessel, likely some old military ship from a forgotten world. The sensors showed it had no backup forces, no fleet, no backup at all. It was alone. The Empire's commanders chuckled to themselves. They would crush it without breaking a sweat. The ship was nothing more than an easy target. The ship was called Vigilant, and its mission was not to conquer the Empire, but to send a message. A message that would change everything. Earth had been mocked for years, underestimated, ignored. But the Vigilant was a warning. It was a symbol of something far greater than anyone could have imagined. The humans had built it in secret, an impossible warship armed with technology that no one in the galaxy could comprehend. It had no peer, no rival. It was the only one of its kind. As the Vigilant approached the Empire's borders, the commanders ordered their strongest fleet to intercept it. The Vigilant was alone, they thought. It would never stand a chance. They prepared their weapons, confident they would destroy the ship with ease. But they were wrong. The Vigilant didn't even slow down. It charged straight at the Empire's fleet, and before they could even react, its weapons fired. The blast tore through the lead ship in seconds. No one had seen anything like it before. The Empire's best ships were nothing against the Vigilant. It moved with precision and power that left the Empire speechless. The fleet commanders tried to regroup, launching a counterattack, but the Vigilant had already disappeared into the shadows of space, leaving only destruction in its wake. The Empire's ships were scattered and broken. Their fleet was in chaos. They couldn't understand how one ship could cause so much damage. They had sent out their strongest forces, yet the Vigilant had struck with such force that they were left stunned and disoriented. And just as quickly as it had appeared, the ship vanished, leaving nothing but questions. The Vigilant didn't just attack, it disrupted everything. The Empire's military command was thrown into confusion. Their best officers were unable to explain how a single ship could take down an entire fleet. It wasn't just the power of the ship, it was its ability to strike unexpectedly, to attack where the Empire was weakest. The Vigilant was a perfect machine of war, built to exploit every flaw in the Empire's defenses. It wasn't brute force that made it powerful, it was the ability to think ahead, to strike when least expected, to make the enemy doubt everything they knew. Over the next few days, the Vigilant made its presence known across the Empire's space. Again and again, it appeared attacking from unexpected angles, leaving fleets crippled and helpless. The Empire tried to stop it. They sent out their finest ships, their most advanced technology, but nothing worked. Every time they thought they had cornered the Vigilant, it vanished into the stars, leaving only wreckage behind. The Vigilant wasn't just strong, it was smarter than anything the Empire had ever faced. It had no fear. It had no hesitation. And each attack made the Empire's once proud forces tremble. The Empire's leaders were baffled. How was one ship able to do so much damage? They could not understand how Earth had built such a vessel. No one had ever heard of such technology, such weapons, such a level of precision. Earth had been nothing but a backwater planet in the galaxy, ignored by everyone. How had they managed to build something so powerful? The Empire's pride was slowly slipping away. What they thought was a simple world had turned into a nightmare for them, and they had no idea how to stop it. The Vigilant kept striking, and with each strike, the Empire's power began to crumble. The question was no longer about defeating the Vigilant, it was about surviving. The Empire, once invincible, was on the brink of collapse. Each victory of the Vigilant felt like a message to the entire galaxy. It wasn't just a warship, it was a declaration that Earth was not to be ignored anymore. The Empire's superiority was no longer a fact. It was a lie. As the Vigilant disappeared into the dark corners of space, leaving the Empire broken and confused. One thing was clear: the power of one ship had shattered the Empire's belief in its own invincibility. It wasn't just the strength of the ship, it was the strength of the humans behind it, the relentless will to prove that even the smallest, weakest species could rise up and challenge the most powerful forces in the universe. And with the Vigilant's silent, powerful message, the galaxy had been given a warning: never underestimate humanity. The Empire would never be the same again. For centuries, the Galactic Empire had dominated the stars. Its fleets were unmatched, and no civilization had dared to challenge its rule. Earth, a small planet tucked away in a distant corner of the galaxy, had long been overlooked by the Empire. It was considered insignificant, weak, and easy to conquer when the time came. No one in the Empire thought that humans had anything special to offer. But what the Empire didn't know was that Earth had been quietly preparing a weapon, something that would change everything. It began as a whisper, a rumor in the farthest corners of the galaxy. Some had heard of Earth's secret project, but no one took it seriously. After all, how could a planet so primitive and isolated create anything capable of taking on the might of the Empire? Yet, hidden deep within Earth's darkest facilities, a weapon was being built in secret, far beyond what anyone could imagine. This weapon wasn't just a ship. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, resilience, and determination. The Vigilant was born. The Vigilant wasn't like any warship the Empire had ever seen. It was faster, smarter, and more deadly than anything in the Empire's vast arsenal. Earth had spent years quietly developing its technology, using what little resources they had to create the most advanced, most dangerous warship the galaxy had ever known. But no one knew about it, not until the day it emerged from Earth's orbit and made its way into the Empire's territory. When the Vigilant entered the Empire's space, the commanders laughed. They believed it was just another foolhardy attempt by a forgotten world to make itself known. A lone ship, they thought. What could it possibly do? They quickly gathered their best forces, preparing to destroy this insignificant ship and send a message to Earth. They were confident in their power. But they were wrong. They had underestimated humanity. The first strike came without warning. The Vigilant's weapons unleashed a blast of energy so powerful that the lead Empire ship was destroyed in an instant. No one had seen such firepower before. The Empire's commanders scrambled, trying to understand what had just happened. A single ship had just obliterated one of their finest vessels without breaking a sweat. The power of the Vigilant was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It didn't need to be in a large fleet to be a threat. One ship was enough. The Empire sent more ships to attack the Vigilant, but the result was always the same. The warship was too fast, too unpredictable. It didn't engage in traditional battles. Instead, it struck when and where the Empire least expected. Every time the Empire thought it had cornered the Vigilant, it disappeared, only to return with an even stronger attack. The Empire's ships couldn't keep up. They couldn't understand how one ship could cause so much damage. How had Earth, a planet they had considered weak, built something so powerful? The Vigilant didn't just destroy ships, it destroyed the Empire's confidence. The commanders, who had once laughed at Earth's defenses, now found themselves on the defensive. They had no idea how to counter the Vigilant. The ship wasn't just strong, it was strategic. Each attack was calculated, precise, and devastating. The Empire's best fighters and warships were nothing compared to the Vigilant's abilities. It wasn't just about power, It was about knowledge, skill, and the human ability to adapt. The Empire tried to regroup, calling in reinforcements from across their vast territory. They sent their most advanced fleets, the pride of their military, to hunt down the Vigilant. But no matter how many ships they sent, the Vigilant always stayed one step ahead. It struck in unexpected places, avoided every trap, and made the Empire question everything it had ever believed about war. One ship, all alone, was proving to be a force of nature that couldn't be stopped. ASE, the Vigilant continued to tear through the Empire's fleets. The galaxy began to take notice. What started as a small, seemingly insignificant attack turned into something far larger. The message from Earth was clear. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The Vigilant wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of what humans were capable of. The Empire had believed they were invincible, that nothing could challenge them. But now, they were facing something they had never expected: a species that was willing to fight back, to show the galaxy that even the smallest, weakest world could rise up and fight against the greatest power in the universe. And the Vigilant's attacks weren't just about destruction. They were a statement. Each strike sent a message to the Empire: you cannot ignore us any longer. The humans had been silent for so long, but now they were showing the galaxy their true strength. The Empire had thought it was unbeatable, but they were wrong. The Vigilant was just the beginning. The once proud Empire was in chaos. The Vigilant had broken their defenses, shattered their pride, and left them wondering how to respond. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. With every strike, the warship's power seemed to grow, and the Empire's grip on the galaxy grew weaker. It wasn't just the Vigilant, it was the beginning of a new era. One where humanity had proven that it was more than just a forgotten planet. One where Earth had shown the galaxy that even the most powerful forces could be toppled by the will of a single species. The Empire, once confident and untouchable, now faced a future they could no longer control. Earth's hidden weapon had exposed their greatest weakness. They had never considered humanity a threat. But the Vigilant had changed that. And now, the galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Empire had ruled the galaxy for centuries, its reach extending across countless worlds, crushing any resistance without mercy. Earth, however, had always been a small, insignificant planet tucked away in a distant corner of space. The Empire considered it little more than a curiosity, a backwater world that posed no threat to their might. They had long ago written off humanity as weak and unimportant, nothing more than a small pebble in the vast ocean of the universe. But they couldn't have been more wrong. What the Empire didn't know was that Earth had something no one else had: a secret weapon that would forever change the balance of power. The Vigilant was the last of its kind. Built in secret, the massive warship was humanity's final attempt to show the galaxy that Earth was not to be ignored. With its advanced technology and unimaginable firepower, the Vigilant was more than just a weapon. It was a message. A message that would echo across the stars and reach the ears of every being in the galaxy. The message was simple. Humanity was ready to fight back. No longer would they cower beneath the Empire's boot. It was time to send the Empire one last warning before they crossed a line they would never return from. The Vigilant was ready. As it rose from Earth's atmosphere and broke free of the planet's gravity, it slipped into the cold emptiness of space, heading straight toward the Empire's borders. Its mission was clear: to strike fear into the heart of the Galactic Empire, to show them that they had made a grave mistake by underestimating Earth. The ship was alone, with no backup, no fleet. It wasn't here to wage a war, it was here to send a message. The Empire, as expected, took little notice. A single ship, they thought. What harm could it possibly do? Their sensors picked up the vessel's approach, but they dismissed it with arrogance. Their fleet was vast, and no single ship could stand against them. The Empire's commanders laughed at the idea of a lone Earth vessel being a threat to their power. They ordered a group of their finest ships to intercept the Vigilant. They couldn't have been more wrong. As the Vigilant entered the Empire's space, it was immediately surrounded by enemy ships. The Empire's fleet moved in for the kill, confident in their victory. But the Vigilant had other plans. It didn't fight the way the Empire expected. The ship didn't just launch blasts of firepower, it used strategy, speed, and precision. The Vigilant attacked in a way that was completely unexpected, striking the Empire's ships with pinpoint accuracy. One by one, the Empire's vessels were torn apart. The power of the Vigilant was overwhelming. The Empire had never seen anything like it. They thought they had control, but the Vigilant was rewriting the rules of warfare. The Empire's fleet quickly began to crumble. Each ship that tried to engage the Vigilant was either destroyed or forced to retreat. The Empire's commanders were left stunned, unable to comprehend how a single ship could be so powerful. How had Earth built something so advanced? How had they created a weapon that could cripple the might of the Empire in a matter of hours? The attack continued, and with every strike, the message from Earth became clearer. This was no random act of rebellion. It was a warning, a final warning that the Empire had pushed Earth too far. They had ignored humanity for far too long, and now they were paying the price. The Vigilant was unstoppable. No matter how many ships the Empire sent, the Vigilant always stayed one step ahead. It struck at the Empire's weak points, exploiting every flaw in their defense. The Empire's pride was quickly replaced with fear. What had once been their strongest fleets now seemed weak and powerless. In comparison to the might of Earth's last weapon, AS, the Vigilant continued to devastate the Empire's forces. The Galactic leaders were forced to confront the truth. They had underestimated humanity. Earth was no longer the insignificant planet they had once thought it to be. The Vigilant wasn't just a weapon. It was a symbol of humanity's determination, a symbol that would resonate across the galaxy for years to come. The message was clear. No one, not even the Empire, could take Earth for granted anymore. The Vigilant moved through the Empire's territories like a shadow, striking at will, then vanishing into the depths of space before the Empire could react. It wasn't about winning a war. It was about making the Empire understand that humanity was not to be messed with. The Vigilant's silent strikes sent shockwaves through the Empire. It wasn't just the destruction of their ships. It was the realization that humanity had crossed a line. The Empire was no longer untouchable. Their supremacy was in question, and no matter what they did, they couldn't stop it. The final blow came when the Vigilant entered the heart of the Empire's fleet. It wasn't there to destroy, it was there to make one last statement. As the Vigilant hovered in space, its weapons powered down, the Empire's remaining ships surrounded it, ready to finish the job. But the Vigilant didn't fire again. It had done what it came to do. The Empire had been warned, and there was no going back. The message had been sent, and the entire galaxy now knew Earth would never again be a pawn in the Empire's game. The Vigilant turned, heading back toward Earth. It didn't need to destroy the Empire. Its mission had been accomplished. The Empire had been shown that humanity was no longer weak. They had one final chance to heed Earth's warning or face the consequences. As the Vigilant disappeared into the black void of space, the galaxy knew that things would never be the same. Earth had sent its last warning, and no one would forget it. The Galactic Empire had ruled for centuries with an iron fist, its dominance unquestioned across the stars. It seemed impossible that anything or anyone could challenge the Empire's absolute control. Earth, a small, insignificant planet on the outer edges of the galaxy, had been overlooked by the Empire for generations. It was known for its primitive technology, its backwater systems, and its weak defenses. No one in the Empire even bothered to consider Earth as a threat. That was, until the day the first shot was fired, and everything changed. The Empire had long mocked Earth's military strength, dismissing the planet as no more than a curiosity. They had no reason to believe that Earth could ever pose a threat to their vast empire. But the humans had been quietly working behind the scenes, preparing for a time when their moment would come. In secret, Earth had built a warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, a weapon of unimaginable power and precision designed for one purpose, to send a message to the Empire that their time of dominance was over. The warship, named Sentinel, was a marvel of human engineering. Its design was sleek and efficient, packed with advanced weaponry and defensive systems far beyond what the Empire had ever imagined. The humans had put everything into its creation, using every bit of knowledge and every scrap of technology they had, determined to prove that Earth could no longer be ignored. It was their one shot, their last chance to make the Empire understand that the days of their unchallenged rule were numbered. The Sentinel lifted off from Earth's surface and made its way into deep space, leaving the planet behind. As it approached the Empire's borders, the first signs of its presence were detected. But the Empire was not concerned. It was just one ship, after all. Their fleets had wiped out entire civilizations in the past, and a single warship from Earth seemed like nothing more than a nuisance. They couldn't have been more wrong. The Sentinel struck without warning. The first Empire ship to encounter it was obliterated in seconds. The Empire's fleet commanders were shocked. No one had anticipated such power. The Sentinel's weapons unleashed a destructive force unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. They couldn't understand it. The ship moved too fast, too precisely, and its energy blasts cut through their defenses like a hot knife through butter. The Empire ships were helpless, unable to mount any kind of defense against the Sentinel's onslaught. Every ship that came into range was destroyed, and the Empire's once invincible fleet was being torn apart by a single warship. Panic spread through the Empire's leadership. They had thought Earth was weak, easy to conquer. Now they were facing a weapon that was devastating their forces without even breaking a sweat. It was clear that the Sentinel wasn't just another ship. It was a symbol of humanity's strength and ingenuity, a weapon designed to prove that Earth was no longer a world to be dismissed. The Empire had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price. As the Sentinel continued its assault, the Empire scrambled to regroup. They sent more ships, hoping to overwhelm the lone warship. But every time they tried to close in, the Sentinel was already gone, slipping away into the depths of space before they could react. It moved with an eerie grace, striking with deadly precision and disappearing just as quickly. The Empire had no idea how to stop it. Their fleets were ineffective, and their greatest commanders couldn't even track the ship's movements. The Sentinel was too fast, too elusive. The message was clear: Earth was not a world to be trifled with. The Sentinel didn't need to destroy the entire Empire to send its message. It was making a statement, showing the galaxy that humanity was capable of more than anyone had ever thought. With every strike, the Empire's arrogance was shattered, piece by piece. No one had believed that Earth could produce such a weapon, and now the entire galaxy was watching in awe as the Sentinel dismantled the Empire's most powerful fleets. The Sentinel's strikes grew more calculated, more deliberate. It wasn't just about causing destruction anymore, it was about sending the Empire a warning. Each strike hit deeper into the Empire's heart, taking out key installations and weakening their overall power. The Empire was being forced to confront the reality that their reign was coming to an end, and they couldn't stop it. The more they tried to retaliate, the more the Sentinel seemed to vanish into thin air, leaving them with nothing but destroyed ships and shattered confidence. The tide was turning. The galaxy had been living under the Empire's shadow for so long that no one had ever considered the possibility of a revolt, much less a successful one. But Earth had shown them that the Empire was vulnerable, that even the most powerful force in the galaxy could be challenged. The Sentinel was just the beginning. It was the first spark in what would become a firestorm of rebellion. The Sentinel continued its mission, its reputation grew. Word spread across the stars: Earth had a weapon, and it was unstoppable. The Empire's once unquestioned control was being torn apart, one ship at a time. The Sentinel wasn't just a weapon, it was a revolution in the making. The Empire couldn't contain it, and neither could anyone else. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting, and there was nothing the Empire could do to stop it. For the first time in centuries, the Empire was afraid. They had believed they were invincible. They had believed no one could challenge their power. But now, one ship from Earth had shown them just how wrong they were. And the Sentinel's attack was just the beginning. The galaxy would never be the same again.